story is called Jack and the Beanstalk. And before we look at Jack and the Beanstalk, let's see if you think this is going to be realism and fantasy, and what is the difference?
Realism and fantasy. There are stories that are real and stories that are make-believe. A story about a fish, like this one, would be real. This kind of story has realism. This fish looks and acts like a real-life fish.
Raise your fin if you know the answer.
A story about these fish would be a fantasy. Fish don't speak or go to school. A fantasy tells about people, places, or events that are make-believe. Think about your favorite story. Would the story have realism, or would it be a fantasy?
Realism. Fantasy. Realism.
All right, so let's take a look now over here at our story, Jack and the Beanstalk is our story. If you take a look here.
I can't see it.
And
I'm
I'm sorry, let's don't shout out, and we need to keep our mask up over our nose. Here's our story, Jack and the Beanstalk. I'll pull this book out so everybody can see. And let's kind of peek at some of the pictures on the inside.
Oh, he's yelling at the little boy.
All right, look.
That's Jack.
Do you think by looking at these pictures, this is going to be realism or fantasy? Fantasy. Does this look like a real life story, like something could really happen? No, it does not. And with that, let's take a look here at our amazing words. In our amazing words, the first word is called naughty. And naughty is when someone is bad or does not behave well. That's when we are not following directions. What are these girls doing right here that's naughty?
Drawing on the wall.
Drawing on the walls with their crayons. Is that something that we are to do? No. The next word is lad. Can you say lad? Lad is a boy. So if you are a lad, raise your hand. All boys, raise your hands. It's another name for boy, and it's called lad.
What about girl?
This is an ogre. Can you say ogre? And an ogre is a giant or a monster in a fairy tale. So would you see an ogre in a real story, like realism? No. An ogre is fairy tale. It's fantasy.
Beanstalk.
Beanstalk is a tall stem of a plant that grows beans. And this is a tall beanstalk. Some beanstalks are tall, some are short. But it is the stem that grows the beans on the plant. To lend, the word lend, can you say lend? To lend is to let someone use or have something for a short time. Somebody here at school lends something to you every Friday. Who is that? The librarian, Miss Payne. She lends you a book. You borrow that book, you use it for a short time, and return it, and that's a lend. And this last word is magic. Can you say magic? Magic. Magic is a skill of performing tricks that seem impossible. So this magic trick is to take the bunny out of the hat. Is that something that seems impossible? Yes. Could we really get a bunny out of a hat? Probably not.
What about if we put a stuffed animal in it and we brought it a steak?
Maybe so. So with that, I have a fun little video, and I want you to listen for the amazing words in this video. And when you hear the amazing words, do a gesture. And a gesture could be, a thumbs up for a gesture, or you could do your finger on your nose or your hand on your head, or this to show me a gesture. It doesn't mean talking. A gesture is a signal to show something, and that was one of our amazing words way back at the beginning.
What is a gesture?
I'm about to show you. All right, so let's. No, I don't want to have you in place. I just want to watch. All right, so we're going to listen for
Way back in
our amazing words.
I've been climbing up a beanstalk.
Don't yell it, just show me.
Tall white beanstalk to find it over in the sky. I hope he doesn't think I'm naughty for climbing up so high.
thought that was a cute little sing-along for our amazing words. And we will listen to that story later this week, Jack and the Beanstalk. All right, boys and girls.